to sort of push away, but would fall short of sort of sensing really what's going on in the environment around them. So it falls short of a sort of a full appreciation for what's going on. It falls short because alcohol at even relatively low levels affects judgment and thought and reasoning at levels far below the legal limit for driving. It wouldn't, that level of intoxication, even as she's coming down, along with being tired, would not allow sort of a mental manipulation or a reasoning to appraise the risk and benefits of what's going on in her environment. It's a totally different situation, and so the sort of active and voluntary participation in the environment is impaired at the time.
And you may have touched on this a little bit, but does that mean then that let me ask it this way, how are the cognitive effects at a 0.09 different with a rising BAC than with a lowering BAC, like what you're talking about?
Well, usually as the BAC is coming down, it's been a rough night, and a person is sort of sleeping it off. We're at the back end, the downward end of the night. And usually don't know too much about a person's behavior during that time as it's coming down because they're sleeping.
So let's look about what happens next, and how, can you tell us how alcohol affects a person's ability to remember an event?
Well, the ability to remember an event is proportional to the amount of stimulation associated with it and its significance. For instance, most people remember where they were on September 11th, but they don't remember where they were the day before, because that time in the morning didn't really matter to them the day before. And if the stimulation and the event are significant enough, you might be able to record that memory, even if you're not completely awake. And in those cases, it might almost seem like a dream-like thing, like, did I have a dream or did something happen? And that's what happens when the environment starts to intrude in sleep without completely waking a person up.
How long might it take for someone to fully appreciate what's happened to them based on being in that state you just described, which alcohol affects?
So for a person to come to terms with whatever might have happened while they were sleeping, it could take a few days for them to sort of wrestle with the idea of, could this have happened? Did this happen? And might await
that. Basis 702. This is the issue that we discussed earlier on.
Your Honor, I disagree. We're talking about how alcohol affects memory and ability to recall events. We haven't touched on that at all.
I agree. Overruled.
So in this case, she alone reckons, at least for a while, with what might have happened at the hands of whomever, and I think, prompted by Lieutenant Pourmonier that noticed something was wrong and empathically reached out, and trying to make sense of something that would have been hard to make sense of at the hands of a friend who was charged with taking care of her because she couldn't care for herself. I think that would have been hard to deal with, but there would have been some memories and some issues that perhaps she could not set aside.
Just one more. Thank you, Your Honor.
Defense, would you like a brief recess?
Extensive, if I can, Your Honor.
How extensive are you talking? Because we're bumping up against lunchtime. That's what I'm asking.
Take a lunch break, Your Honor.
Okay. Okay, members. So what I'm going to do now is put you on an hour lunch break. At that time, we'll allow the defense to prepare their notes and also eat lunch themselves. Does an hour work, Captain Horn?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Captain, so I'll ask that you are back in the deliberation room around 12:50, at which time I anticipate we will proceed with the defense's cross-examination.
All rise.
Enjoy your lunch, members. Thank you. Okay, the members have departed. Everyone enjoy your lunch. In defense, let me know if you need more time.
Just, well, before we go off the record, Your Honor, I do want to state that I may have an oral motion under 905 to produce a sleep expert. I have not decided that yet.
Sure.
We did have a sleep expert that was a consultant in this trial. My understanding from the government counsel was that they were not intending to produce sleep testimony. I need to consult with my expert to see whether or not this is something that we think that we can adequately prepare for and cross-examine on. But there is a potential that I will have a motion to produce that expert.
Okay, so likewise, if you need more time to get to that answer, just let me know, okay?
Understand, Your Honor.
All right, let's go to recess.
All rise.
Carry on, please. Thank you.
That's it, Your Honor. Ma'am, move the podium while we're on the record.
Go ahead. This court is called to order at 12:55. All parties present when the court last recessed are again present. The members are absent. Prior to coming on the record, we had a brief 802 in the courtroom. Present were myself, both trial counsel, both defense counsel, the accused, and both SBCs. We just talked about the way ahead today. Defense counsel has alerted me that they're ready to proceed with cross-examination of Dr. Huff, and that after the conclusion of the government's case, they will be raising an oral motion for production of a sleep expert. We will take that up at a 39A outside the presence of the members, obviously, after the government's case in chief, which I expect to conclude upon the conclusion of the testimony of Dr. Huff. Counsel, anything else to add to that summary?
Nothing from the government, Your Honor.
Nothing, defense concurs, nothing I draw.
Okay.
Bailiff, can we please call the members?
Yes, ma'am.
I will state for the record that Dr. Huff has returned for the witness.
All rise.
Members, welcome back. Everyone may be seated, please.
Lieutenant James.
Yes, Your Honor.
Proceed with cross-examination.
Thank you, Your Honor. I want to start with 3 states of being, and specifically the formation of memories in those 3 states of being. You would agree, based on the testimony, that BM1 Lombardi was able to accurately recall the events.
All of the events or some of the events?
She was able to recall events.
She was able to recall some events.
She told GM2 Armitage in those text message is that she remembered the events.
Some of the events, yes.
She remembered, she said in her text message, I remember everything that happened. Did she not?
I don't have them before me, but I believe that that's the case. It was something like that.
She told the members here today that she remembered the events.
Yes.
Over the course of this trial, excuse me. And that memory itself, that is consistent with the states of consciousness, correct?
Memories